Everybody, cue the information, intelligence, spirit. I'm putting this on the record because it has to be. The fuckery going on between my family over the trust distribution and just the crime that's taking place. It's just sickening behavior. We're dealing with mankind who's led to believe that the Dark Lord is really who's in charge and that they're on the winning team. That's what they think. They got it wrong. They got it completely wrong. They see me as the threat and the bad guy because I've got the genes that they use to finish mapping the human genome. So they know that they're special genes, but they're making sure that they drive me to the ground, cause me to be left for dead, make me think that nobody gives a shit about me. Nobody could give a shit about you. But in reality, I know that there's like some black market underground surveillance voyeurs watching me get assaulted every single time. They can't wait to see it happen. Like they got their main money on like something they think is gonna happen. Those people are sick, mentally sick. How do you think this world got this way? Who could honestly believe that that's the epitome of intelligence and creation is a creepy mad dad, psycho killer? But because they want to feed the beast inside of them is why they give themselves the ability to go, I must see it. They think that the darkness rules and reigns. They think God is not a little fairy. He must be this crazy guy. Oh, wrong again. You'd have to think outside of your evil to try to even catch a glimpse of what God's contemplation is. There's a reason why it doesn't feel good to lie or cheat or steal. There's a reason why. It's your instincts telling you that's not the right thing to do. My daughter and I are being subjected to absolute torture. It's been 7 years as of last Saturday. Greed, genetic theft, and I figured out we're just going to be sequestered and assaulted with knockdown hits to see what happens to our sequence. We're their lab rats. And so the thing is that I guess if it was really helping humanity, I guess we'd have to understand. But unfortunately for them, it's not for the good of humanity. They don't have good science. They don't have good data. They haven't done anything with their advancements but go downhill. So that's a lie also. This good for humanity. You know what's good for humanity? Preventing people like them. Preventing. That's what's good for humanity. That's what God is here to facilitate. That's why God wrote it in the prophecy. But God wouldn't let, since it was Satan's domain, let Satan be the spirit that comes through man that he's writing. They think they're worshiping the... No, but God's book is in there. Oh, it's right there. It says exactly like what I'm telling you. It says, and what I'm saying it says. They just don't know how to interpret it in another way because you don't know how to know what you don't know until you know. They're the ones that are going to be fooled, made fools out of, and look like real big dumbasses standing there. It's like the pervert that believed the woman that's like, take off all your clothes and meet me in the hallway and I'll be right there. And then you turn on the lights and it's like everyone but even worse. I mean, there's no analogy for it. My mother was sequestered just a couple weeks after my child was kidnapped. And in this time parameter that I haven't been able to see my daughter ever again, or my mother or anyone. My grandma has passed away. And my mother has passed away almost as if she was murdered. You don't put someone in a hospice that plans on getting better. That's where you go to die. Mankind is drumming up the evil, demonic Satan energy. They're doing black magic. They're doing real low-level witchery woo. But for the average person, it's not low level. It's straight terrorizing, but it's low level. And they're lost and they're broken. They don't even know how to know that they are. Because they think that we're la. They think we're, they're paranoid. Of course they're paranoid. They know what they've done with their hands, seen with their eyes, caused with their actions. They should be paranoid. Sad. That's what they went ahead and did with their experience. That's what they did with being here on Earth. The ability to taste the fruit and swim in the water and feel the sunshine. That's what they did. What caused that? Well, what caused that was when man took the woman under his slave system and brainwashed us, groomed us into submission after generations of murder and violence. He groomed. So right now he's at the top of the world. This is his fantasy land. He's got submissive wife. Well, some of them, not everyone. We're gonna have to pull them into check. The world must look beautiful to him with all the trash heaps and the manufacturing going on, but it's his bank account he loves. Mars. I love this part. So yeah, let's do it. The fuckery. Trust laws and lies. Yeah. Let's read something. All my life growing up, well, my dad and his wife made sure to let us know, my sister and I, that we're going to be set when we grow up. Just rich. Okay. That hasn't happened. But when my mother died, I became the beneficiary. My sister and I became the beneficiary, and where she's been the beneficiary. I don't know anything about trust and all that stuff, but I do know that in the trust paperwork, it indicates that the grantor, Coleman, my great-grandfather, didn't want them to sell the business. He had a clause in there for the provision of money in the case of need, in the need. A beneficiary in their issue. I pointed that out when my kid got kidnapped. I said, I need help. I can't litigate and keep my house and everything. They basically told me to fuck off. But they instead said, well, go ahead and write it down, and we'll submit it to the board members. I don't know, what the fuck? They didn't submit that. They didn't do anything. They just placated me, bullshitted me, and got me to sign something that actually changed the trust and agreed to them appointing like 19 co-trustees. So fraudulent, but it's obvious. I mean, they did it right after I asked them. So whatever this trust distribution is, I mean, it's not even in my mom's trust paperwork, her estate paperwork. But there's something else in there, a whole lot of questionable things, and we'll talk about that another time. We're going to talk about the Moorman and BNY Mellon. Immediately, my mom dies November 30th. Just in time before the end of the year. Interesting. They need to get an account number they can transfer the money into now. Well, because they know that my mom was sending me $1,200 a month as a stipend because they knocked me down out of my own self-sufficiency so that they can accuse me of being a bad guy. So they can justify, dishing out their, excuse me, that reinforcement learning style assaults. Learn your lesson. So they knew that I was living off of nothing. I had just about enough to get by. So therefore I'd be looking for that check. Right? Now she needs it. Give us an account number. Well, I happen to have had an account that I opened up with Fidelity. And under my EIN for a sole proprietor. And I'm able to do that because there's a fraudulent child support debt that's like up to $100,000 on my name. You kidnapped. So anyway, they did this all in the EIN number, and they're just playing with fuckery. Okay, they're playing with fuckery. That's all I can say. They tried to mess. They're trying to set me up to get me flagged with the tax people. They're up to no good. Well, I'm not going to get into all the details right now. I'm just saying this is everything to do with genetic theft, human mapping, human genome mapping, over 200 patents. This is according to them, they didn't have this tissue from anywhere else. They weren't going to get it, right? So it's pretty valuable tissue, don't you think? Yeah. Well, what do you think the registered securities market's all about? These people are making highfalutin, hypothesis paperwork. As long as you know how to get the paperwork submitted, you can say, "Hey, I've got an idea, and it's going to be successful. So now I need to put it on the stock market for $800 million." And they do. They do it all the time. But the money market is exactly who will put you in jail for 30 years if you fuck with them, bounce a check almost. I mean, that's because they're addicted. That's their drug. Money is their drug. Power over money is their drug. Excuse me. They're just trying any way they can to try to kill me and torture me slowly to death. And cowards, just low-level scumbuckets. Needless to say, they won't answer my questions, and I can tell that there's something funky going on because they're calling it an income distribution. This is an inheritance. I inherited what my mom gets from your trust. Well, no, it's a trust distribution, Allison. It's not just a lump sum. It's you're going to get on a monthly basis. Okay, so it's income. Okay, fine. But the point I am making is whose income? Because I'm led to believe you're not paying me from the family's trust. I have a reason to believe you guys have generated a brand new trust based on my value, and you guys are trying to trick me into agreeing to it. You're receiving the income. We're receiving all the other parts of the income that we haven't let you know about, or that we're profiting off of, and that we're getting paid from. I know there's something else going on based on the lack of information they're willing to give and the nuances in the paperwork. That's how I know. I've done auditing for 20 years, so they're in trouble. During Trust Distributions 2023, with the close of the financial year rapidly approaching, it's a good time for trustees to strategize, and document their annual trustee resolutions for their trusts. So in other words, these trustees sound like pretty important people. Pretty important people indeed, holding positions of trust, managing money for multiple people at once. I bet you there's some regulations for those trustees. Oh, those are those fiduciary obligations. Oh, yeah. The important ones like bankers and judges and stuff. Fiduciaries. Guardians, conservators, the big dogs. Well, what happens if they break the laws and rules, if they fail their job? A beneficiary can raise the claim of breach, have the full accounting done, and even up to and including collapsing the trust. You could replace the trustee. You could have the trustee replace the money that they misappropriated and such, and they can be held liable for damages. Of course, the trust law guys are the trust law buddies. They're not going to let you get into the court and actually file that, do you think? No. That's why they act obnoxious. Go ahead and try to get us in trouble is what they're saying. These are the fucking terrorists of the world right now. Trying to force you into situations so they can accuse you of being mental and needing a power of attorney, a durable one. Then when they get that, they can just kill you. This is a key requirement. The trustee resolutions for their trust, annual. This is a key requirement for trust distributions. This process must be completed before the 30th of June deadline or earlier as stated by your trust deed. Or what? Earlier? There's nothing in the trust deed about any of this because they changed the form of the trust and they're bullshitting me. As a matter of fact, they're so obnoxious, I would ask them questions and he would go, Allie, I already gave you a copy of this. Why do you keep asking for the same thing over and over again, Allison? It's getting confusing. Why? I gave it to you. And I'm sitting, and the email's this long, and it's like asking questions and highlighting things. And he literally responds to me like I'm an idiot. Like, what are you talking about, Allison? So he's an actor at the top of his game. Stoic, emotionless, completely capable of psychopath behavior. Gets a kick out of it. Psychopath. Must be completed before June 30th deadline or according to your trustee. This is to avoid tax penalties that can soar up to 47%. The following guide highlights key considerations and steps that you should be considering. Let's look at what you should prioritize during this time. What is a resolution? In the simplest terms, a trustee resolution is a formal decision made by the trustee or trustees of a trust. These resolutions can cover various actions like distributing income, investing in assets, or changing the trust's structure. They are key. Part of they're missing an A. See, they always rush when they're nervous. They're nervous about what they're saying. They are key. Part of the process when doing trust distributions. When making, doing. Because you'd be making a trust distribution if all you had to do was issue it. When you're doing trust distributions, what you're doing is you're maneuvering and manipulating money out of them. You're doing to them. You're doing them I'm doing you a trust distribution, Allison. I'm trying to do you already. That's what they've been doing. We're just trying to get it to you immediately. We're just trying to get you those funds. We're just trying to get you those funds. They want to do you so hard. I guess they're actually frustrated that they can't actually do you, that they want to do you every other which way. Sorry. But it's so good. Pink Lady apples are so crunchy and beautiful. But why are these resolutions so important? They serve as legal proof of the trustee's decisions. I'm curious if this is something that like they were supposed to run by us first before they decide on something. They show that the trustee is, listen, why are they so important? Well, they serve as legal proof of the trustee's decisions. They show that the trustee is appropriately managing the trust and acting in the best interest of the beneficiaries. How do your resolutions legally prove your decision? Well, I get that. How do they show to me, the beneficiary? How do your resolutions show that you're appropriately managing the trust and acting in the best interests? One essential resolution that trustees must make each year involves how the trust's income will be distributed among the beneficiaries. This needs to be decided before the end of the financial year and should be clearly documented. There you go. I should be able to get a copy of this document, right? What's that? Trustee resolutions. Annual. Trustee resolutions. Okay, so it says, remember, trustees must not take these resolutions lightly. Trustees must consider the trust deed, which sets out the rules for the trust, the interests of the beneficiaries, and tax laws. Well, my uncle and BNY Mellon have done nothing but assault me and insinuate that I'm like trying to dodge taxes, even though I'm fully familiar with the tax voucher up to $100 million. These people are insane. These people are control addicts. Remember, trustees must not take these resolutions lightly. Judges too, huh? Bankers too, huh? Trustees must consider the trust deed, which sets out the rules for the trust, the interests of the beneficiary. And by the way, that's interests, not interest as in principal and interest. They must also ensure that all resolutions are correctly recorded and kept as part of the trust records. Right, like what you're supposed to have about 2017, and all I get is lip service. I'm going to be that one-off that gets their asses into the court, gets to prosecute them from the top to the bottom, exposes them in front of the world, and changes things in the face of our economy because of their fuckery. It's been destined, it's been prophesied. This is the case that breaks that camel's back, so that camels will never have their back broken again. Well, what if the trustee is a company? A company acting as a trust, like a corporate trustee? That's what it would amount to. Like they're already talking to us like we're 5-year-olds. A company acting as a trustee is my bad. Often termed a corporate trustee. Well, at least know I'm on point. The company, not the individuals, is legally responsible for the trust. And why? Legally responsible. Oh, I bet you they got insurance policies for that. One key difference in the setup is the company constitution. This is a document that outlines how the company is governed. It's similar to the trust deed, but for the company. So I guess if like the corporate trustee was Gerard Bank, and then Gerard Bank got bought by the top wealth advisor in the world, even though Gerard Bank was just a small bank, doesn't that disqualify it from being able to be purchased by such a large conglomerate? I know that rule is out there. Yes, I do. In what way is BNY Mellon similar to Gerard Bank? Similar in the sense that great-grandfather Coleman Moore chose a corporate trustee. Mind you, he gives 4% off the top to Cornell University. Okay, so he's got a large, wealthy trust. He chose a small bank. He has patents, and he's an engineer like Tesla, but he was noted in the 50 top innovators of technology article written by like Technology Magazine or something. He's in the list of the top 50 of all time. And they didn't call him an engineer or an inventor. They called him an entrepreneur. So do you think that an entrepreneur who had branches of his business, more products worldwide, one in Mexico, they got them in Germany, they had it all around the world. We're talking the guy died when I was 3 months before I was born. Okay, so 50s, 60s, right? During that time. You're trying to tell me that that man wasn't smart enough to know enough about money or trusts that he forgot to appoint successor trustees. That's what they had to fix about it. Well, they were just fixing it. They didn't use those back then, but they had to fix it. That's what they got my signature for. When they removed that clause, which also voids out that document nonetheless, even though they obtained my signature under duress and through coercion. Extortion, rather. Still, under this, they're not gonna have enough. They're not gonna have money when I'm done with them for trying to torture me and my daughter to death. And you better believe I have every right to be angry like that. I'm only alive because God kept me that way, because I kept me that way, not because they haven't continued to try to murder me. That's actual. Anyhow, that was just a side note about small banks and big banks and entrepreneurs versus idiots. So it matters how they're governed. It's kind of like for the trustee, but for the company. It sets out the rules for making decisions, including how directors' meetings should be convened and held. Oh, that's great. Got to get my hands on that. Why does this matter? They impose the question. All decisions, like a trustee distribution resolution, TDR, must align with the company. All decisions, like a trustee distribution resolution, must align with the company constitution if the company is the trustee. Wait a minute. So we're gonna have to find that out. Oh, it's like I said, they keep changing the name. BNY this, BNY Wealth. Oh, really? They think I'm stupid. Must be because my mom let them get away with whatever they wanted to do. So they must assume that I'm dumb like her. And then they murdered her. Yeah, well, I'm not dumb like anybody. As a matter of fact, I'm the smartest person I've ever met. Be honest with you. So no, I'm not dumb. This includes procedures for convening and conducting meetings, voting on resolutions, and recording decisions. Oh, that's great. Just because I know now I just know that you're going to have the documentation from 2017. For example, and back to, I get a fiduciary specialist, not even an actual, okay, you guys are fired. So fired. So, for example, if a director is absent and the Constitution requires all directors to be present for decision making, it could delay crucial actions, like a trustee distribution resolution. Such delays have tax implications if the resolution isn't made before the end of the financial year. Thus, understanding the company and trust rules is critical to effective trust management. Now, I've got email after email proving it. Me saying to them, what do you expect out of me? Tell me everything. I need full notice and disclosure. These pieces of shit don't even have professional integrity. Because they believe that their Satan Lord is going to keep them out of trouble's way. How much you want to make a bet? They fall flat on their face. And then they shit their pants. And then they cry like babies. How much you want to make a bet? Because it's interesting what happens when a self-righteous, self-entitled, egotistical, narcissist, white-collar murderer, or red-collar money man has to wake up to smell the coffee that he's not untouchable. He actually could go to jail for doing these things. They actually are crimes. against your little bad boyfriend and the warden of the jail. It's against God. But you guys are too busy giving Israel more bombs to do more genocide, huh? Oh. You know what they say, you get what you give. You get what you give. In this instance, it's like you get tenfold what you give. So you guys wanted me to be dead. What do you think that's going to amount to? So, tax implications, trust management. What is the trust's financial position? Before making a trustee distribution resolution, it's vital to have a rough picture of the trust's financial position. The trust? Is that interesting? Sounds to me like they're talking about beneficiaries being the trust. By June 30th, they need to get a rough idea of their financial position. Ooh, I found it. I found it, guys. It's so nice and warm and fuzzy. Oh, I found where you guys are committing your fraud. It feels like a nice cup of cocoa. Feels like a nice cup of cocoa. Feels like a nice cup of cocoa. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. You dipshits dreaming of my death. But this time it won't go like the others before. It's time to show you who gets coal in their stocking this year. Who gets visited by old Saint Nick? Who gets reamed up the asshole, this time by Satan's dick. So I hope you have a happy holiday. Because for the rest of your life, it'll be the last holiday you will celebrate. Says the human in me that you've been trying to torture to death. Lucky for you, I'm actually not immature, childish. I don't lower myself to your levels. So I'm getting my joy right now by saying it out loud like that because that's how I feel, and so I get it out of my system. But you're lucky. I would never stoop to such low levels as to think that's going to do anybody any good. I'm going to be determined that you grow out of your shit. You're going to be under my control, and I'm going to make sure that you heal from your mental illness. That's what I'm going to do. So you're lucky that I'm not a piece of shit like you. But how else are you going to learn? So, you're going to get a rough idea for their financial position. I wonder why. Using software can significantly help track your trust's financial status and give you immediate feedback when needed. What do you mean immediate feedback? The trust? What's the trust doing at all hours of the night? I found it. I found it right here. And here's what's going to be hilarious. When I find out how much they lowballed my value. Well, because they don't want to have to be giving me a distribution of like $1 million a month, and that's what it would amount to. Well, maybe that's the truth. That when I uncover this, I'm going to find that they've got a lot of money sitting over here, and they've just been pinkling off the interest or some shit like that. But that's my money. There's something going on. and it's got something to do with my genetic information. But there's nothing that they could do. There's no amount that they could pay to remedy this violence on my daughter. I don't even know if she's alive at this moment. You better believe this has nothing to do with money. These drug addicts of money are going to learn how cold-hearted they are and how this has nothing to do with money. Because, like I said, what I just said, you're lucky that I'm not like you. Yeah, well, depending on the circumstance of my daughter, everything can change that fast. Depending on the circumstance of my daughter. Don't fuck with the mother's scorn. Do not fuck with mother's baby. And because of my genes is what indicates that my child is the child of God. I got the Mary Jesus genes, assholes. You guys are trying to kill it? You're trying to steal from humanity, getting God's message? Hey, I may not be the one who chooses to hang you, but they might. Oh, he's a real pretty boy, Satan. That's what he is. Geez, Uncle, if I'd have just let you fuck me up the ass, would that have made it better? Would that have stopped all this violence? Who knows? Wish I would have known if that's the case. It's true. Men don't even... I'm just saying it. There's just nothing we can say about it. So insulting. Oh, God, because I just heard the joke that bounced back. Let me lighten up my energy so that way I don't receive it either, so that I can just try to take a deep, calm breath, because I know that God's already shown me that we win and that this is all headed towards that. And that's why all of this has everything to do with how it unravels and why it unravels. And therefore, it's all necessary. And so I have nothing to really, truly be bitching about. So you got to check myself, because I'm human. But the fact of the matter is that I do have scope on the situation, which is why ultimately there's no real reason to be upset about it. Even though I have the reason to be upset about it, I don't have to actually be upset about it. So I can take my energy down from to at least sounding more stoic, right? It'll give me more edge if I sound a lot less emotionally attached to it. I'll sound a lot like Rachel, and they'll think it's working. They'll think that they're actually working me down. They're chipping away at my emotional intensity, but in reality, it's just because I know the outcome. On one hand, your trust may only be invested in shares. You should consider tools like ShareSite for tracking share purchases, sales, and dividends. For a more comprehensive picture, with the ability to also lodge tax returns. You might consider simple Invest 360 software. These platforms offer real-time insights into your investments. Invest in the children, they say. Invest. We want to invest in your future. Fuck you and your investments. I know what you're saying. Those are four-letter words to me. Oh, they want to invest in you, all right. Which can inform your resolutions. Inform your resolutions? You mean when they decide for you, your beneficiary, what's going to happen to you? The next step involves updating and classifying your transactions. With your transactions sorted and categorized, you'll have a clearer view of trust's finances. Oh, I'm just imagining what it's like down there in Costa Rica, the new property that belongs to me. Or how beautiful it looks in Pennsylvania right now. The new property that I'll be the trustee of. Why? What were you thinking, Uncle Freddy? Or were you too busy trying to get on the phone with your Mexican cartel to put the hit on her already? Oh, don't get so worked up, Uncle Freddy. It's just money. Control, power over, and male domination and misogyny and straight the demons of the planet. That's why you don't think I make any sense, because of course everything I say just goes against your narrative, and that's your psychopathic delusional mind, your mental illness. All I can say is I'd like to see you get the round of applause. Way to go, you guys. You guys get to bring down commerce. I mean, the future is going to be because of you guys and your sacrifice. You sacrifice. It's kind of like the narrative for Jesus. You know, you guys chose to die for our sins. No, you guys chose to die for your own sins. There you go. You guys atoned for yourself. Good boys. Hey, look, we got a couple of them that actually know what's going on. They atoned for their own sins. Truth be told, everybody's atoning for their own sins. So, the next step involves updating and classifying. Oh, I did that. Clear review of the trust's finances. From there, you can run reports to give you an idea of the types and amounts of income, capital gains, or losses the trust might have. That's great. I love knowing that because, again, they're telling you what software to use. And when my uncles and just act like absolute asshole freaks of nature, they have no excuse. This is going to be front page news. Creeps. Hi, everybody. That's Frederick Moore. That's the fraudsters in the financial industry. This is what they want to do to all of us. With this information at hand, you're well prepared to make a trust. You're not going to do them this time? With this information at hand, you're well prepared to make a trust distributions resolution. What about me making a trust resolutions? I have my own trust. This is where they're gonna swallow their tongue. Oh, did you just steal something from me that I've already appointed? Well, I guess it's not in your system software, because it doesn't have to be legally, asshole. Well, the world's gonna find out about it. You don't need to have prepared full trust accounts to make a resolution. Oh, you don't? No. When you make a resolution, you don't need to specify an actual dollar amount unless it's explicitly required in a trust deed. Do you have the trust deed handy? The trust deed is a legally binding document that sets out the rules and provisions of your trust. It's like the blueprint for how your trust is managed. Really. It outlines the powers and duties of the trustee, the beneficiary's rights, and the distribution terms. No, it doesn't. So why should you always have the trust deed at your fingertips? Firstly, it provides clarity. Your trust deed is your go-to guide whenever you're unsure how to handle a trust matter. It spells out the terms of the trust in black and white, leaving no room for ambiguity. Secondly, it's your legal safety net. The trust deed provides the legal foundation for all your decisions. By aligning your actions with the trust deed, you're ensuring you're on the right side of the law. Thirdly, your trust deed may specify particular requirements when making a trust distribution resolution. For instance, the distribution may require a dollar amount to be made in a certain way. Also, now is an excellent time to ensure the trust deed is valid and hasn't vested. Who are your beneficiaries? Well, the trust deed should clearly outline who the beneficiaries are. This could be specific individuals, like family members, or a broader class of people, such as all descendants of a particular person. It's also possible for charities or other entities to be beneficiaries. Why does this matter? Because as a trustee, you have a legal duty to act in the best interests. Best interests, Allison. We've decided what's best for you. Of the beneficiaries. What's in the best interests of them, not for them. Knowing exactly who they are helps you make decisions that benefit them. Jail. Cling, clang, 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 clang. Get ready for it. Moreover, when making trustee distributions, you need to consider the needs and circumstances of the beneficiaries. You just said that. You should consider their age, financial situation, or relationship with other beneficiaries, right? So you can get in with them. Understanding who your beneficiaries are is more than just good practice. It's a crucial part of managing a trust. Uncle Freddie, it's your turn. Now I need to put my nose up your ass so I can decide what we're going to resolve about your upcoming year and how much you're worth. Keeping your beneficiaries in mind ensures that your trust, yours, achieves its purpose and serves the interests of those it was designed to benefit. You don't get to know that. Has there been a family trust election? And family trust election is a decision made by trustees to specify their trust as a family trust. This is an essential step as it can offer several tax advantages. However, it also means the trust is bound by specific distribution rules. In essence, an FTE ties the trust to a particular family group. This group is defined by a specific individual and their family. The trust can only distribute income or capital to members of this family group unless it's prepared to pay hefty penalty tax rates. So if it's not a family trust, that means they've got investors involved in profiting from it. So while an FTE can offer benefits, it also narrows the scope of who can be a beneficiary. As with all aspects of trust management, it's essential to understand the implications before making an election. This is another instance where professional advice can prove valuable. And what do they tell me? Contact your tax advisor. It's going to be a nice day coming up here very soon. The first thing you need to do is to understand how your trust income is worked out. This is usually explained in the trust's deed. For example, the deed might say that the trust income is the same as its net income, the money it has left over after paying all its costs. If that's what the deed says, then you shouldn't try to use a different method for working out the income. That's it for that statement. How is it calculated? Are you streaming capital gains or franked distributions? You need to be careful when streaming. I just found it. I hope you're jacking off right now. Go on, get it done already, bitch. Going to be my pleasure. Commerce falls hard on it. And I meant it when I said it. I'm going to lower myself to your levels. I'm a messenger and a vessel of God. Not because God told me this first, because it came through me. And then God goes, hey, check it out. Look, I said it was going to happen. Hey, look, that seal on your arm, I said I was going to do it. That's how God's done it. It's come through me, and God then tapped on my door and said, hey, check it out. Look. Hey, look. What? What? Yeah, that's right. Both. Oh, I'm not going to get started. I'm not going to talk about that right here. I'm just going to tell you this much. I meant what I said. We know you don't learn anything when you just get taken out or sent to jail like you pieces of shit do in your greedy mental illness. You're going to learn precisely why you guys are called animals and we are called intelligent. You're going to learn precisely why you don't make babies and can't make babies and why fathers are not in a part of the reproduction. Not at all. You learn. I mean, that's if you can even get your energy and frequency at the right level. To be honest, I'd be very surprised if any of you make it into the gates. And that's the component I have to remind myself of. There's also the cleansing. I mean, let's get there. Entering the gate is the step number one, like if you can even make it. Because God's already got the cleansing aspect. Because God knows we're not going to just toil for fucking ever. If your energy is not at the right level, you're not going to make it. And I don't have to get my hands dirty over the matter. So I guess the reason why I talk about it in that way is because my instincts are still trying to get you to grow up before time's up. That's wishful thinking. Try having that kind of integrity, huh? You people are so lost, broken, and full of hate for yourselves, for what you aren't, for not. You people, you are sad, sick, sorry, sons of bitches. No amount of money or power is ever going to do it for you. Nothing's ever going to do it for you. Do you know that? You don't care, huh? You don't have any faith in that la la land stuff, God and paradise and all that, huh? Is that right? I mean, like, were you guys believing in God when you guys were murdering and raping? Were you believing in God then? What do they get some smoke and mirrors actually in the room to make the spirit come alive? Huh? Is that what they were doing? Any of you guys actually believe in God? You have to believe in the demon God. Of course, you've seen him for yourself. Got a big dick, doesn't he? Yeah. Well, some of us can. Anyhow. But do you believe in God? Maybe I should correct your idea of what God is in the first place. That's probably a better way to do it. Do you believe that you're alive? I heard all these huhs. Oh. Am I getting warmer? You guys don't even think you're alive. That's why they have that cliche, like, pinch me, to let me know I'm not dreaming. Right. So you guys have probably been convinced or brainwashed or groomed to, like, have this belief in, that one thing they talk about. It's like really realistic dreams or something. Yeah, you guys have been brainwashed out of thinking you're even alive. That's what video games do too, huh? Watching porn, movies, television, fake media land, and fake facades and fake performances. You guys don't even believe you're alive. Well, then I guess it won't be so painful when you disintegrate, because you'll just go into that part of your dream. There's nothing I can tell you to make it make sense anymore. Being alive is something you need to want. Being alive. Living the life in everything. Your society thinks nothing is alive. That's right. Your scientists are assholes. And they say things like, no, I don't believe the universe is conscious. Because if it was conscious, it would know what I needed it to prove to me that it was. Idiots. Well, then why does God let the bad stuff happen? Fucking idiots in Fantasyland. Where did you get this shit? Your commercials, your cartoons, your movies, your video games? Of course it is. You know, I can help you all. I can help you all in profound ways if I want to. Is it not obvious that I want to? Genuinely speaking. How do you interpret all this? Just angry bitch? What? What do you guys think is going through my mind and heart and soul? You think I'm a liar like you guys? You think I'm really good at hiding it like you guys? What? Are you guys realizing right about now that nobody even knows the answer? Someone's like, oh, well, I guess he told me. And then, did you? Oh, okay, so they talked to, hey, did you guys get the other one? Oh, they talked to so-and-so? Oh, is that right? Oh, she didn't. Huh. None of you guys verified it? Typical shit, man. Typical shit. Bullshit. It's because you guys were too busy looking at yourself in the mirror and trying to make sure you got the beer and the babes on the way. Yeah. I can help you all in profound ways. If I want to. Just in the same way that I can, if I want to, is what it has to start with from you. You have to want to be healed. I mean, for example, in your guys' Bible narrative, was Jesus walking around going like, you there, I sense that your ankle is bothering you. Sit down and let me fix it for you. Not walking around like telling people that he's going to heal them and to do as he says and stuff. No, he's not. Matter of fact, people were trying to get their hands on him. Help! Please help us, Lord. Please help us, save us. It goes kind of sounds like it goes hand in hand with the poor system. You guys need the poor people so you have someone to research on. So that's why you guys created the suffering system. I mean, it all goes hand in hand, but it all boils down to like your research. You need somebody to harm so that you can feel better about yourself. But anyway, I can heal you in profound ways, like I said, if I want to. The component that's important here is that your healing starts with you. You're going to have to want to be healed. And that goes hand in hand with knowing that you need to be healed. Knowing that you're broken. Which goes hand in hand with knowing that you are in pain. And that you're vulnerable. Which is normally what causes it to there and then to there and then to there, which is where you're at. You forgot all about that a long time ago, and you've done a whole lot of nasty things to make sure you buried it under. So for, I guess, all the non-family member voyeur hunters, listen. What I say is about to happen is about to happen, okay? What I'm telling you, I am and can prove. I am and can prove. give it the benefit of a doubt and reach out to those family member voyeur hunters and try to get through them about their giving it the benefit of a doubt. Worst case scenario, what harm does it do to put your best foot forward while you're at it, just in case it helps? Kind of like, you guys want to be the ones that get sent into timeout for 230 million years or whatever it is? You guys want to be the ones that don't make it to paradise? You guys want to be the ones that look like fools in front of the whole entire world? Because when commerce falls, what all the rest of everybody's looking for is the fall guy. As long as they can point at somebody, you did it. Even though we're not trying to let that happen. Everybody's broken. Everybody's involved in it somehow, some way. And just because some of them were even more evil than you doesn't change the fact that we have to change as a society, which is why God has it set up this way, so that we can go through the orbital pass, and then when we get back to central source, we can cleanse and start anew. It's not like when winter starts, God goes through like a series of, now remember what the warmth felt like? Okay, because it's getting colder. Okay, well now remember, no, the temperatures change. This is your first one. Next year when it comes around, you'll remember how it was. While you're at it. Fred, bro, buddy, honey, dad, Poindexter, uncle. Trust me, I think Costa Rica is something else. You're not going to want to miss this. You're not going to want to be the dunce cap sitting there who is just too proud to join the rest of us in getting a case of the fuckets. What are you talking about, Allison? I thought we already had the case of the fuckets. No, you do. But this is my double entendre way of turning things around. Get a case of the fuckets. Like, fuck it. Might as well give it a shot. Woohoo! Turn that ship around and get some enthusiasm, why don't you? What's the worst that could happen if you just give it a shot to make it to paradise? I'm telling you that when we get in the gates, nobody's going to get to pick on anybody or point their fingers. That's what I'm telling you. And there's a process of getting through the gate. But I want to see you there. Want to know why? Well, first of all, I have no reason to not like you. I remember loving you guys growing up. Uncle Freddie and Uncle Billy, you guys are the greatest. You guys are handsome men, and they're intelligent and smart and charming and stuff. Why would I have no reason to not love you. You're my family. I know that we'd have amazing conversations over wine and dinner, all of us, because we're all intellects. I know that we all have a taste for the finer things. I know there's no reason to not love you. So for those reasons, but for all the other reasons even more. Because you're broken. That is why I want you to heal. Because it's gotta suck to have to make decisions like that among men's men. And that's gross. And I just think that it's gross that all of you have been subjected to don't cry, son, to do it because you're supposed to, or whatever it's been like for you guys having to be under that thumb also. Okay? So yeah, I mean it when I say it. I want everybody to feel better. And if you're having a hard time believing that, well, I understand. You're going to be paranoid of a lot of things. Can't do anything about that for you. But one thing I can do is reassure you. I can reassure you every opportunity I can pick up on it. So if you went out of your way to even communicate directly to me about it, just imagine what I could do for any one of you. I'm riding my intuition and instincts. And if I'm hitting it on the nose whatsoever, which something tells me that I'm doing that often, then Fuck it. Take a shot. What if I'm right? What if I'm telling the truth? What if it is actually what's going to happen? Right? You don't want to what if in that direction. What if it all falls apart? Well, what if I can't do it? Well, what if the sun doesn't come out tomorrow? No. What if I can? What if I win? Well, what ifs aren't smart to do? Because it should always be a understanding that it's going to happen the way it happens, and that's the mystery. Get good with it. But God's at the helm of the outcome. So if something happens that you don't like, that's because it's not over yet, and you're on your way to some. You're not. It's not done yet. You're not there yet. You're in the process of getting there. But that's what the story of the beginning and the end and the beginning, or the Alpha and the Omega. Okay. The reason for that, which is why I get it. That's why you guys are trying to answer the question. Well, who created life or something? What do they ask? I don't even know what the question is. Like, who created Earth, or how were we created? There you go. I think that's what it is. That's because you guys are convoluting the Alpha and the Omega concept. No, it's an infinite. And then there's halos. Because it's infinite. So there's time parameters, okay? But the beginning and the end thing, it's because there needs to be seasons. And that's how things resolve. That's how things resolve. Not by streaming or peering or surveilling or any of this shit. You guys are antitrust. And I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to prove it to you. Something tells me that you guys are going to allow yourselves to get fucked up the ass this time. But that's probably because you've been fantasizing about it for so long. So, good for you, huh? You'll get the fucking you want. Hey, I'm just trying to consider what's in your best interests. Kidding. Not what's in your best interests. I'm just trying to consider what's in your interests, you see? Because I really care about what you want. You need to be careful when streaming. That's when you want to retain the type of income. When given, you need to be careful when streaming, period. That's when you want to retain the type of income when given to beneficiaries. Period. That doesn't make sense. For example, suppose you distribute all the profit from selling something. Something? A capital gain. A capital gain. To one person. Okay, so suppose you distribute all the profit from selling something to one person. In that case, you must ensure this is allowed by the trust's rules. You also need to ensure that the person gets all the benefits from that gain. This might include parts of the gain that aren't taxed. Wink, wink, under the table. It's also important to remember that you have to decide who gets these gains by a specific date. You can't change your mind about who gets a gain after it's already been allocated. Can you stream other types of income? Oh, like what? Minor beneficial. I mean, you can't stream all types of income. I just said other, not all. For example, if the trust earns money from overseas, or you mean foreign to the United States, you can't choose to give all this income to one person. What? If the trust earns money from overseas, like people that pay a fee to watch the surveillance streaming data. You can't choose to give all this income to one person. Why can't you choose that? Each person usually gets a share of each type of income the trust makes. So basically, they don't like that question because it insinuates there's a lot of money getting made here. Well, does the resolution have to be written in blood? Proving that a resolution has been made is a vital aspect of trust management. Right, because in the first paragraph you said it was legal proof. Objective evidence, such as meeting notes, correspondence, or draft minutes approved at the meeting, can help demonstrate that a resolution was made according to the trust deed's terms. But you said it was legal proof. Well, we're telling you it's legal proof. Now, whether there is legal proof or not, that's another conversation. Does a resolution have to be in writing? This depends on your trust deed. Like mortgage, RMIC, RMIC, REMIC, or I think it's ROIC, or REIT. However, a written record often provides more robust evidence. It can prevent future disputes, either with the tax office or beneficiaries, about whether a resolution was made. A written record becomes especially important when you want to effectively distribute capital gains or franked distributions for tax purposes. Beneficiaries can only be specifically entitled to these if the entitlement is recorded in writing by specific dates. 30th of June. So in other words, they weren't allowed to distribute to me anything just because my mom died on the 30th of November and they had to get it in before the end of the year. Well, for your end of the year, Allison, well, you had to have it in writing by June 30th for your new year. In writing by specific dates, June 30th for franked dividends and 31st of August for capital gains. It's important to note that due to the trust deed's operation, if another beneficiary was entitled to the capital gain included in the trust's income before June 30th, a beneficiary cannot be specifically entitled to it after that date. In short, having a written record of resolutions is beneficial and often essential for efficient trust management and tax purposes. Is the resolution unambiguous? Is it? Is it unambiguous? I mean, you read it. Does it say everything you need it to say? You need to make resolutions clear and easy to understand. They should not leave anyone guessing or cause any confusion. Let's think about an example. Well, you didn't want us to think about the previous examples. Suppose the trustee is sharing out money from a trust. Sharing out. Sharing out. They decide John gets the first $100. Sarah gets the next $100. Mel gets all the money that is left. Ben also gets all the money that is left. But that's impossible if you already gave it to Mel. The trustee might have wanted to split the leftover money evenly between Mel and Ben. But, as written, the rule might imply that Mel gets all the leftover money, leaving nothing for Ben. So what they're implying is basically that they're putting fifth graders in charge of these things. Because if you can't do your books accurately enough. You shouldn't be in charge of your household's budget, let alone a trust. Here's another example. The trustee decides to give all the trust's trading income, money made from selling things, to one person. Here's another example. Period. Not semicolon. Before it was semicolon. They decide. Semicolon. Here we go like this. Here's another example. Period. The trustee decides to give all the trust's trading income to one person. Period. That's money made from selling things. Selling things. Like intellectual property things. Like privacy things. Like genetic tissue things. But, okay, so the trustee decides to give all the trust's trading income to one person. But what if the trust also made money in other ways? Like earning interest. That's how they get you. We want to give you our interest. We want you to have the interest. No, you want the control. Like earning interest. The rule doesn't say what happens to this money, because it's not disclosed. Depending on the details of the trust, this could mean the leftover money gets taxed by the trustee or people not expected, as they were listed as default beneficiaries. Depending on the details, this could mean the leftover money gets taxed by the trustee or people not expected, as they were listed as default beneficiaries. What? So the rule doesn't say what happens to this money. Oh, they basically just said it goes to the trustee. He taxed it. So trustees must be very clear when making rules about distributing trust money. They should use simple words and make sure the rules cover everything that could happen. If things are complicated, they might want to get help from a legal expert. It's very important that there's no confusion or misunderstanding about what the rules mean. Do I have to pay the trust distributions? Who's this article talking to? I could have swore it was talking to trustees. Do they have to pay them? The critical point is that a beneficiary is taxed. Listen to them. The critical point is that the beneficiary, not the trust, is taxed on their entitlement to the trust's income, regardless of whether they actually receive the money or assets. This is known as the present entitlement rule. It's a man's world, sinking quickly, going all the way down to the bottom of the ocean, in the darkness where it'll sit till you enter the darkness again. This is known as the present entitlement rule. Even if a beneficiary hasn't physically received the distribution, they'll need to declare their entitlement to the trust's income on their tax return and pay the tax accordingly. It's important to note that the trust deed can affect how and when trust distributions are made. Some deeds allow for income to be distributed at a later date, or even held on trust. So this is what I'm talking about. They haven't given me the bullshit. They're still fucking fired. All I can say is, suck your dick. I don't gotta say nothing else. Thank you for finding the awesome information. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Because without your contribution to mankind, well, mankind probably wouldn't fall. Well, God will make sure of it anyway, but let's just give them the round of applause they deserve. Thanks for being the world's greatest douchebags. We knew you had it in you. Hey, voyeurs, hunters, thanks for your interest in violence and such. And no, I'm not going to say that as a joke. I don't like that joke. We don't think anything like that. Oh, thank God. God, thank you. Thank you for letting the creeps of existence get taken out, and for the rest of us who know better to enjoy paradise. Thank you, Lord. God, intelligence, my child. Because the financial institutions are up to no good, and so is the vote. They're all in breach. The ballots are not valid. You all know it. And we all have reason to trust that God's got something up its sleeve. Because I don't know how and when and what resolves this, but I know that it does. I've seen it with my own eyes and read it in the scripture. Yeah. This is the look of absolute astonishment. Like, it just, it astonishes me how low this world has gotten, and it just goes to show. Hopefully you guys are etching this into your soul. Why this is definitely not what you ever want to allow to become. Which is why you need to understand what went wrong in the first place. Where you guys went wrong. It's the thing you don't want to look at, but it's the very thing you got to. You're not supposed to be in charge, mister. You're supposed to listen to your mother. You don't have a father browbeating jerk at home because your mother is coupled with God, and you get everything from that. So if you end up being born a boy, which is going to be far and few between, you're going to understand that you do have something that you're going to want to uphold the integrity of. But that doesn't mean you're going to go fucking bitches and you know, no, you get it all twisted again. You need to be a son. You need to be a child. You need to learn to listen. You need to simply take a chance on receiving love. Because of what man did, everybody lost out. Nobody got it. You guys breeded love right out of humanity. And the code came back in, and this girl's got it. Not the only one, but certainly a someone's one. And you guys know it. All you CIA agents, you guys know. Well, the aliens came and gave us that technology. Yeah. The technology that helped you peer into the future to see what was going to be the outcome. That was the same technology that helped you cause your own destruction. Temptations, huh? No, thank you. No, it's okay. Take the sweater. It's fine. We're happy to help. But we don't want any technology we don't understand yet. God didn't give it to us, so it's okay. Thank you anyway. You sure? Serious? You sure? You don't want to, like, trade some of your children so that we can, like, give you a plot of land on our planet over there? No, we're good. Totally. Forget about it. No. Get out of here, you. Now go on and get out of here before your coffee gets cold. That's what you should have said. No, we're okay. If we didn't figure it out, then don't take the fun away from us figuring it out for ourselves. Yeah, that's the right answer. Now you're thinking. At which point, they get in their little buggy and fly away and then they disappear because they were a figment of your imagination that God sent in to test you. The answer was not, thank you. Yes, we'll take it indeed. Correct. Because all this is a figment of the imaginations. You are alive, and yet you're not. This is not a simulation, and yet it is. Forever always has been and always will be. So what's the question again? Is it one or the other? What again? Did you just not get done saying something about like infinite, like, more than meets the eye? And you're already trying to box it up into one or the other again? You and your digital zeros and ones. But once you guys calm down and grow up and chill the fuck out and get your fucking egos in check, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. And we're looking forward to that. The United Nations is so fired. But look at this. We the Women campaign. Women Rise for All. 4 hours ago. Surveyed 25,854 women from 185 countries to gather women's perspectives on key issues across the world. 12 minutes? But it's a nice start. But again, they're trying to placate us. No, we're working on that, Allison. No, the vote can happen. No, we're working on that. Bullshit. God, this world belongs to the earth, first of all. And then it belongs to the consciousness of the cosmos. It doesn't belong to us. We're not the only species here. And you better believe we're not the only species here. Man has already proven prima facie that he's a violent menace and must be taken out of power 100%. Out of the head of the household, out of the top of everything. And he can see if he can qualify. Next issue. We've got a method to deploy this. But like I said, I like what I'm seeing. That's an indication that you guys have the concept. It's good news. That means not all of you guys are going to get disintegrated. See? Good news. Let's just see it. Why not?
This world and its potential is absolutely amazing. That is a gift that is worth fighting for.
Yeah.
Women are the embodiment of hope and possibility. They are the light that will guide us in reaching a more sustainable, peaceful, and just world.
Women have an incredible capacity to change the course of our lives.
Women. Women rise for all.
Why has gender equality?
Okay? You watch it for yourself. It happens right in front of our faces. Thank God YouTube wanted to show it to me because it's just been nothing but watch us kill people online. Watch us genocide and murder. I command my angel legions to put on their armor and go fuck their shit up. That's all war fighters right now. I want them to shit in their pants out of fear of what's happening. What's happening? I want something to stop them all now. Okay? Or God. Or aliens. Or orbs. Or women. Or sanity come back to us and put them to sleep, freeze time, something. God knows what God's doing. And I know God's doing it. So I guess I can keep correcting myself that I really don't even have to say that because it's like pointless because I already know what's happening. So I guess I'll just send my energy toward it and say, it is in the process and we are grateful See how even I'm learning? Because nobody's ever done learning. All right, everybody. You guys need to be on your toes as well. But I mean, like, don't be I mean, what I'm saying is we've got to live like you don't have another option or backup plan or God's going to come and save you. We've got to live making decisions and taking actions as if it's our last chance type thing. We've got to not count on having an ability to try it again or, right? Or God will fix it. Because there really is no such thing as second chances. So we've got to be putting our best foot forward at all times. Men, you're the ones that I hope hear this so much. Because we're not trying to leave you out. Son, we don't want to see you turn out like those ones. We don't want to see it turn out to be like that. So step up your game and do the right thing. We love you. And we believe in you to do the right thing. That's what it's going to require. Being honest, coming clean. I know it's the scariest thing you've never imagined doing. Like rock climbing, mountain climbing. Oh my God. Well, that's how it feels for you, I know. Well, I don't know what to tell you there. Thank God God doesn't make it a requirement to climb rocks. Like hanging on an edge. No way, man. You're insane. No. But coming clean, that's not going to kill you. That doesn't even put you in harm's way. Don't be greedy. Dark, sinister, evil. Hate-filled. Don't. You're going to get it tenfold. Is that the kind of example you want to leave for your children? The kind of man you want to be to your wife? I mean, clearly. Remember, since Grandpa passed away, his energy moved forward. So is it possible that since Grandpa passed away, you've become more of a creep? It's possible.